Hello everyone, welcome to another stream. How are we all doing? I'm just kind of fading out there, let's adjust that quickly. Hey Wajilla, welcome sir. How are you? So last stream we did some things. We had a bit of an interruption. It's alright now. Yeah, it seems to not be doing the thing anymore, good. So we didn't quite get to finish where we were, but that's okay. It's no biggie. We were just about to go through the stuff that's been code generated and just make sure that there's consistency. It's not super messy. Has everything we need. Like not anything missing accidentally, right? And then after we've done that, so that's the clean up entity API, we're going to be getting entities created and rendering. Last stream we added this sort of graphics payload, which is a thing which has an array of models that you want to render. That gets passed to the render thread, and then we're going to go ahead and render that. Well, it's already sort of plugged in now. So from the game logic side, we just got to produce an array and jobs are good. Then we're going to render some debug boxes for the regions. So if you remember, we've got our entities are binned into different regions, so we can iterate over things that are kind of local. So we want to be able to debug draw those regions. Very easy thing to do. And then obviously test moving entities around different regions. So if you remember, a region is just, a box around a bunch of entities, right? And the entity can move outside the region. Quite simple. Hey, Ray March. Ah, that's a shame. That's cool, my friend. No biggie. I only just rage you all the time. I'm joking. I don't mind at all. Appreciate the thought, though. How did your stream go, then? Doing good. Almost almost done. With C99 part of my C99 Vulkan renderer. Interesting. So what does that mean? Does it mean you've opened up a file and put the main function in? And then compiled with the dash std equals C99? Ah, Pepsi Mango. Stream was nice. Doing more memory layout nonsense. Fair play. Yeah. Yeah, I feel for you because you've gone this sort of like more supporting broader hardware route than me, and even for me, it was just getting to the point where it was just like, I want this done now. But yeah, writing the C rep, C was done more thoroughly, comparing stuff. Yeah. Yeah. But to be fair on your part though, like all of these new abstractions, like we've got a new abstraction now. SDL GPU landed in SDL3, right? And it's like Web GPU, right? It doesn't support bindless. It doesn't support bindless. So your thing will be able to work with this, mine won't. Because mine is fully works around bindless. Where is it? Anyway, it's in the SDL repos. You can download it. I actually quite like the SDL GPU stuff. Like from a point of view as it will probably be good enough for like most indie developers. So I might just point them over to that thing when people say I want to get started in graphics programming now. Because Web GPU was quite nice. I did like it, but they would tie you to their shading language, and that was the main negative thing about it. Oh, and obviously it doesn't support bindless. But I also like the way that they've decided to do it in SDL. I wrote about it on my Discord. They have no async compute and transfer. That's a shame, right? But it's okay. You don't typically need that for an indie game. They support multi-threaded command buffer recording. Okay. They record directly into the Vulkan command buffer. Now, I think when I looked at the WebGL implementations, they didn't actually record directly into the command buffer. They have their own command buffer that they then re-encode into the sort of native one. Pipeline barriers are done automatically, right? You expect this. It transitions to and from a default state. So you might go like, hey, this is by default a vertex buffer, but then just temporarily I'm going to upload to it from the CPU. So it'll do the transitioning and then copy to it, and then it'll transition it back to the default state right away. So it's not some proper sort of like tracking thing. It's not the most optimized, but you don't really need to be super optimized for an indie game anyway. They do one pipeline layout per graphics pipeline. This is a bit in the weeds with Vulkan if you're not familiar with it. But they've got this sort of the descriptor set layout, which I thought was interesting. So vertex resources are in descriptor set 0. Vertex uniform buffers are in descriptor set 1. Fragment resources in 2, and fragment uniform buffers in 3. So these are like your storage. So these are like your storage textures and your sample textures and your storage buffers. That's what these are. Yeah, so it's all right. Solves the problem, I think, well enough. Yeah, and then the only negative to this approach that I saw is the descriptor update. They call a descriptor update from the CPU side per draw call if it's dirty or something like this, which it could be quite bad if you've got tons of draws, but in an indie game it's probably alright. And it's a nice simple abstraction across all the different hardware. So this is probably good enough to replace OpenGL for now, if you want to use SDL. I looked at the bytecode. Yeah, that's the SDL shading language. That's like still in progress, I think. But yeah, you could target that as well. By being done with the C99 part of my C99 Vulkan renderer, I mean ready to move into the front end. Oh, okay. Right, so you've actually done all the heavy lifting. Awesome. Congratulations, Vagilla. Well done. That's a load of good work. How many lines of code did you clock in at? And have you been writing that usage code? Yeah, I know they've got a I know they've got a bytecode that the shading language compiles to, and they got that whole system. I didn't realize it was done ready though. Rohan, thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate it, sir. Yeah, man, things are going great. Things are going good. Just about to. It's getting towards the end of this entity side of things. Entity code generator. How about you? What have you been up to? Wachilla. 741 lines. Wait, in all? That can't be right for a Vulkan renderer. Seems a bit small. Yeah, so we're going to be looking at like. Oh, thank you for the sub, Rohan. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you for your support as well. Thank you. For the entire project? What? Doesn't make any sense. Unless it's just like Control J it all up onto one line. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, Shift J. There you go. Problem solved. Right, so let's go to like entity.h because we got to the end of this, I think. You got to this system part, isn't it? So I'm thinking we should probably call this global variable system. G-ent system. Hey, Soul Foam, how you doing? Because, like, it's inconsistent otherwise. So hop back to the entity code gen. We'll look before we do g-ent. This is like test code, but I guess we'll just change it here anyway. Let's just keep going around. This is actually the code generator. The context-aware print formatting. Oh yeah. And then we need to go around probably into the entity.c file and just have a gander. It's just not done it here. Just see if I can get it to replace properly. Damn it, and this LSP replacing thing. It's too smart. All I wanted was a simple string replacer. And that's the LSP all over the place. I wonder if you can do a simple find and replace in Helix without the damn LSP. It's too smart. S then replace with C. Yeah, like Vim, you had something like this magic. Can be asked to read it. But yeah, maybe they got it, maybe they haven't. I'll look off stream. I'll just do it the caveman way. Next and redo. Oh yeah. So this is in the non-codegen file. Yes, this is just all the code that we don't need to code gen, and you know, all goes in there. So if we go back to the entity.h now, after doing that rename, well, we should actually just regenerate that lovely file. Hang on a minute. There we go. I could have just typed that out. So now it's regenerated those files with that new sort of g-ent sys thing instead of just g-ent. Alright. So this move request, so I've requested to move my entity to another 3D coordinate. All of this system-y stuff could also be internal as well. But I didn't want to have an internal header file because there's already like too many source files. There was a generated one, non-generated one. So I wanted to minimize the number of files. So I'm just going to stick it inside the... Oh, for crying out loud. I've got to stick it somewhere sensible. Entity.c, somewhere in there. It's probably got to be from the get-go up here. So this will be the record pool. Right, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Right, so this archetype one has to move. Not in all, render graph will be a huge portion. Basically, completely dictates how frames will be drawn. Use clock instead of manually count seems to be 1500. Seems to be more accurate. Ah. Yeah, I still don't understand how you done a whole renderer. Is it like a 2D renderer? And have you decided to cut a whole bunch of features from your rendering header? Yeah, because mine's just compute only. My header file is 300 lines, obviously including extra bells and whistles, comments. That's 300 lines just for the header file. And I've only got compute. And if I go into GPU Vulkan.c, this only has compute and has 3,000 lines. So I'm curious how you've done a whole graphics one in 700 lines of code. Entity system. But it's not entity system as in the ECS system. No. Right, so we keep going up. We're going to take all of this. And we're going to put it under this record pool, because the record pool is a custom pool for holding records of entities. No. I'm going to put this underneath the record pool. That's right. So the record pool is completely independent, and it's used here for this global variable. Nice. My concern is this archetype pool then. That's the next one. Wait, that's in the header file, which is already included. Excellent. Okay, so we're getting close now. Let's hop back to the header file. Yeah, so these, wherever they've been implemented, have to be moved up now. So where that was. Now, there's just some static functions that, we'll have two sections for it. No code is perfect. Yeah, so... Right, so I think we've... Everything to do with this header file, this entity header file, I think we've sorted out now. I moved some of the internal stuff outside of the main header. Maybe I might do another way around version of this, which takes a reference and gives you an ID back. Might be useful. I think we do that in a few places, not gonna lie. So I can record this record IDs thing. So we get the archetype, ent archetype, ent ref archetype, and then we need this index of the entity. So ent ref index. Cool. Nice, so we just return that. Okay. So now we've checked the header file, we should also check the header file that's been code generated. So that is in entity generated.h. Let's reload it just in case. So let's see if there's anything that needs a bit of a tidy or anything that's painfully inconsistent. So here's the enums for the properties and the archetypes, they're fine. Their naming convention is a little bit off because I'm doing some macros that I want to be able to paste on the prefix. So that's just the trade-off we've made there. entity, so typed entity references, so for the knight, for the chest, and the tree, which are terrible examples, which will change soon, hopefully. This are the typed identifiers, which will not. The references have a lifetime of a frame. The IDs have a lifetime of the object. So these are typed IDs for entities. We should probably have ones that go the other way around. So that's another thing as well. It's like you have an untyped reference and I want to turn it into a typed reference. We don't really have, we should really have functions for that as well. So let's go back into that code generator because this is a good set of functions, I reckon. So we can get a reference. We need to have ones that go the other way around as well. So we need ones that can ID, so a typed reference, and you get back a typed ID, right? It's interesting. But I also would like, with this sort of typed references, I would very much like a way to take an untyped reference and get a you say like I expect it has to be this archetype, and then I'll do the assert and then just return it, right? Well, no. Yeah, it's no compile time, isn't it? So we want to say knight ref from untyped. I guess this could be called from ID, but oh well. You can always change it later. ID from untyped. ID. Hey Zan, Zardas, welcome back. No reason Helix now. I kind of rage quit from Vim / NeoVim. Yeah, it's quite nice. It's not bad. There's a few things that it doesn't do, but yeah, I'm still getting used to the editor. Really, I only use it 3 days a week, 4 hours a session. So I'm still really adjusting to it. But yeah, I do quite like a lot of the things about it. On Windows, what? I'm on Windows at work, but not here. Right, so I might go and do that rename as well. So let's make these new functions and we'll do those renames because, they're quite useful, these things. So the rename is from untyped. No, from ID. Now the next one. So rather than from ID, it's from untyped. Ref. So we just do the assert. It's quite nice. Like the configuration file is just a configuration file. It's not a programming language. It comes with the language server protocol out of the box. A lot of the features use the language server protocol, which has pros and cons, right? Um, like I need to figure out how to do a bunch of renames, but it comes with, essentially like TJ's telescope out of the box. So you can press space and F and search files. You can do space and slash and search or like grep across files. You can do like space. There's a bunch of other things like symbol picker, look for symbols and buffers that are open. Yeah, it's also got it's got this really neat feature where you press. So I've remapped it to the F key, but I think it's GF before, but I've just remapped it to F. But it will then label every identifier on the screen, which is 2 characters or more, with a different set of keys, and you press those 2 keys and you'll jump straight there, and it highlights it. But yeah, quite nice. It's got some key obvious things missing though, like I can't compile something and then it takes the standard out and then makes a list of error messages. Instead, it relies on the LSP, which is like not reality, right? The LSP is a guess. Like it doesn't fully have all of the problems that you're going to be encountering in the code base. Like it, yeah, it should get most of the compiler ones, but it definitely won't get the linker ones. But yeah. Or will it? Yeah, it's just not compile. It's just not the same as compiling. So yeah, I would prefer if they had some more basic. But yeah, there's tons of stuff there, and I just got to learn it all really. But I quite like it so far. My configuration is very small. I have just rebound all the keys to something I like because I use the Combat keyboard layout. And it's not. Um, it makes the whole default keys all like swizzled, right? So I've had to make my own key bindings. Yeah, but like obviously that was the same problem as Vim. Like Vim has that problem. Is the nature of it being a terminal-based application. So yeah, you can try it if you fancy. I quite like it. For assert that, so I guess we can get the archetype. Ent archetype ref archetype. Cool. And then we are simply just making sure the archetype equal ent archetype dollar caps away. Expected to be this, but got We don't know, right? So we've got to do a string. Do we have an array of archetypes yet? Oh, we don't, do we? Right. Yeah. Alright, let's just keep it simple. I can't be bothered to make it 100% correct yet. So later when I encounter this problem, I'll spend the time and make it better. Yeah, so it'd be nice to have a lookup table of the archetypes and then just look it up and say, like, the one that we got at runtime was this other one. But it's okay. So the next one to do would be a reference from, okay, we've done that one. An ID from a reference. So we did that in, all right, so we could do that. ID from ref. Be a typed ref, wouldn't it? Now we did that in entity.c, which we have got to rename these boys and girls, but it's basically this. Yeah. So this is the typed one. So cool, so that would be right. Yeah, and then it returns a typed. You know what? I could have just used, yeah, like this one does. It calls the untyped one. Why didn't I just do this? Why am I so silly? All right, so you want to get, so from ref, ID from ref, ID, cool. So this one here will be ID, so typed ID from untyped one. So here's the untyped. So this would require looking up into getting the reference from the ID, looking at the archetype, because we don't store the archetype in the entity ID yet. There's just no need to do it. So I guess what we'll do is we'll do another one of these sort of lines, and we'll get the ent ref from ID, pass in the ID, right? This will only be in debug anyway. It'll be compiled out at release. So we get the ref, and then, right, and I realize these strings need to be escaped. Right, and then there should be those extra nice functions. We just have to then change the header file. These ones, so from ref is the naming we wanted to change it to now, from ID, and then in the header file, from ID, from ref. Sweet, so recode gen that, and now we can carry on and take a look at the generated header. and just see if there's anything else that stands out. Reload. So these are our new functions that we just made. Soul Foam. Wait, are you streaming now, Soul Foam? I have to raid you, my friend, if you are. Do you stream now? Get on there. No. I've been fooled. Hey. He used to stream though. I remember now, he used to stream ages ago, wasn't it? He used to stream like long time ago. Back in the day. You know, before in the before times. Hey Lupo. I'm doing alright. I'm not doing bad. The bad is pretty warm. Barely coping. I don't know why I got these on. It's making me extra warm. But this is the choices I make in my life. How about you? No, I wasn't an OG viewer. I just remember the stories. I said, wait. I think I was streaming around that time, or at least started trying streaming. It wasn't like as consistent as this. But I did briefly stream 1 or 2 times back then as well. Been at least 8 years since I streamed very actively. Oh, Soulfoam, come back. Come back, Soulfoam. We need people to see how it's done. You know what I mean? Right, so we've got a bunch of archetype structures which use for initialization. Pretty good. Got a bunch of archetype pools used for archetype pooling. You know, self-explanatory, pretty good. Entity initialization functions, you know, used to initialize entities in a deferred way. Pretty good. I like that one. Untyped references allow you to get and set individual properties, because you might want to do that for some reason. Right. Then typed getters and setters, which are even better. And then you just have a way to get the property arrays. So you're like, screw it. Wait a minute, why aren't these pointers? These ain't no arrays. Gotta fix that. Archetype property arrays. There we go. Put her there. Yes, the implementation was fine. Right, we'll regenerate that in a bit. So the header file, the generated header file looks good. Let's look at the generated C file. Double check everything's the way we want it to be. Crying out loud. What do I see here? An unfinished string. Oh, what have I done? Oh, I didn't put an A in there. Well, I did, but I've already deleted it. Reload. Right, so these are ways of getting a typed reference from a typed ID. Pretty nice. Ways of getting typed reference from an untyped reference. Ways of getting a typed ID from a typed reference and a typed ID from an untyped reference. Sorry for an untyped ID. Oh, words. And these are here because I didn't delete them in the code generator. Let's delete. That was copy and paste from the header file ones. I was like, I need these. I want to fill them in. Right, so now we're back here. We can regen that and do a nice reload. Reload. Right, so initialize deferred. That should be okay. At the top, man. Oh no, alright. Ignore that. Hang on a minute. We've gone and missed out. We've got to put the coordinate back in the archetype. Yeah. So in the generate header file, what we know is that, yeah, there's no coordinate in the archetypes anymore because it's kind of a built-in property for everything. But we've removed it from the code generator side. The layout file is now built as like an implicit thing on all of them. So when I make these archetype struts, I wonder if this got any other knock-on effects. Well, I guess there's tons of archetype everywhere, to be honest. Right, it's here. Yep. So we actually need to put another property down. Here we go. Hang on a minute. 32 times 3. Coordinate. And voila. So that's the one that was missing. So that means my copy functions are messed up as well. Maybe. No, they won't. This is fine. Right, let's regen. Hop back into entity generated C. Alright, reload. Right, this is not showing up anymore. Well, this is still showing up as a problem. Because this is probably not an Yeah, I think my includes are a bit messed up, so the language server doesn't pick it up. So anyway, we'll see the compile errors. We need people that aren't blinded by modern bling bling langs. Not yours truly. Yes. Wasn't a dig at you very much in any way. But yeah, we need people who stop, going into that cargo.toml and they'll be like, alright, HPP HTTP equal, version 1.69, and then they bring in 1,000 packages to their to their projects. That's what we need to kind of avoid, Yeah. Wow. So 3D. So how's the 3D stuff going? Have you been enjoying it? Was mad at one tool being Y up and the other being set up. That's cool. I'm anti C++ too. I think Rust is the better C++. That's what it's for, right? It's not really a C replacement. It's a C++ replacement. I understand it's what it's solving. And it was originally written in OCaml. Or camel. However you want to pronounce it. You know. Yeah, there's even stuff in C where so C is a simple language in comparison to everything else. But even there's stuff in C where it's like, why is this in here? Um or like but when you think about it, how C was like how old C is, it's done really well. Like it's obviously has some upgrades since KNRC, but it's done really well at like staying relevant, right? Like not be like being being the way it is and it not get outdated. Let me give you a good prime example of this. It's a lovely language called lovely in quotes called GLSL. GLSL was born in the year I don't know, sometime after C, long time ago. After C. 2004. Maybe. I don't know. It says 1992, but let's just say 2004. And let me tell you, this thing still doesn't have enums. You don't have enums in this language. It's just horrendous. Like, come on. Anyway, that thing hasn't aged well. I can tell you that. C, on the other hand, it's aged pretty well. Don't think there'll ever be a consensus on how to replace C. Yeah, probably not. Even the new C standards that come out get a bit iffy. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm about 50-50 on C23. Half the stuff I'm like, yes, it's cool, and half the stuff I'm like, why? Why have you added this stuff in here? Just I've never had this problem. But yeah. Right, these are the implementations for getting the untyped things. I think they're alright. I'm just been looking at like the API names and stuff, and if anything glaringly points out. But we already did it in the header files types of things. So this does look a bit messy, kinda, but like, can I make? I can maybe make this into a function to like where you pass in the property and you get a void one back, and then you just everything calls into that instead. But this will work okay. Right, when you instantiate the pools, you set up the bit sets. I think that's alright. Cool. Right, so I think we're in a place now where we just got to get it compiling. So I'm happy there. So we're going to go over to, so here's the thing. What the crap is this? Crying out loud. I haven't even updated my machine. Apparently I've got too many things, which I don't have many things. I just come on here and program and then turn it off. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, I have this logic file now, or the game logic is going in. What's our game.c, game.h? I don't know what's going in there. I think the entity stuff is in here. Maybe, just maybe. Any logic file. What's even in my game.c? It's just nothing, isn't it? Crying out loud. What is going on with these computers? Right, it's just some thread local storage thing. Probably needs to be thrown in the bin. Right, I'm just going to put it in main.c for now. Can always move it around. So, let's F this thing. I wanna put the include in here into my single compilation unit and see how it goes. So, logic. Yeah, come on. Entity. Yeah. Entity.h. Entity C. And then generated. Wait, but the generated one is included in there. Right. So hopefully we'll pass with flying colors. So let's do a compile and run. Right. We can all dream of achieving compiling first time, but you know, we can just dream about it. But we failed. So apparently entity ref has not been declared yet in the header file, in the generated one. So it's included a little bit too early. Entity.h. So where's the ref? Alright. Why the hell does that include up there? Who the hell did that? I don't know what past me was thinking. A slightly future version of me must have put this here. But now present me has got to delete this thing because that is just horrendous. Right, so let's try again. Okay, so we've got some more problems, no biggie. Keep going. So this time, pool header is not declared yet. So that's in the. Where's my pool headers? Oh, they're now kind of internal though. But where did we stick it? I wonder where it is. Oh. Interesting. Right, so this is in a section where it doesn't make any sense. But yeah. Right, so in the generated header, why the pools in there? That's a question. Like, there's some things that are kind of internal that shouldn't be in here. So this pool, or this archetypes pool stuff, these can actually go into the generated file instead. So we just need to move that in the code generator. It's no biggie. Gen.c. So archetype pools, these data types. Where would I stick that? Entity dot c, I guess. So include the generated.h here. Yeah, the problem is the entity system needs the archetype pool, and that's all the way up there. Alright, bit of a predicament now. Right, I might just move this pool header into the public header. Maybe we can make it publicly accessible. I'm not really too fussed about it. Yeah, sorry, just so wherever it's included here, let's chuck it in there. Maybe we'll have ways to sort of get access to the pull header we want. I don't know. Probably a bad idea, but better than fighting different, moving code into different files for the moment. Record pull get. So now we're in the entity.c file, and I think the problem is going back to that C file at the top. We included the generated header, whereas if we just included the standard entity header, which includes the generated one, it would end up better, I think. You'd like a spanner slice type in C. Yeah, I could see how that could be helpful. But then having them separate sometimes is nice. Every year more and more code is written. The thought of replacing it is never going to happen long. Yep. We just need a little bit more JavaScript tooling, and when we... Well, definitely sounds like pretty bananas. It's just a demo for an engine to test it, or are you making an actual game? Working on a game without an engine. But we're writing the engine first, if that makes any sense. So I've got a game idea in mind. I've spoken about it a little bit. It's like a top-down RPG where there's tons of simulation going on in the world. So I'm building all the technology to achieve that. Plus I've spent some time, quite a lot of time actually, doing some rendering R&D to find some kind of unique-ish graphics art style. Right, you're not going to get unique. There's tons of people working on stuff, but something that's a little bit uncommon. So we're coming back around and doing the sort of game technology side of things at the moment, like entity systems, multi-threading, an editor to make these custom rendered models. Yeah, so that's what we're working on. Yeah, so what's going on here? 75. Did I? Alright, so clearly this needs to be moved up. It's alright, no biggie. I thought it would have... Let's do that. Cool, pull free head list. What the crap? Free list head. Ah. Right. Right, yes, when we deallocate, we're storing it in there. It's a wraps type now. It's cool. So a reference is not just an index, but in our pull allocation, we're using that field to store our linked list of free elements. That's what that one is. Debug array resize. Did we not include a header file? Okay. Nice. Move request. Oh, I need to take the address. Right. So core stack. Take the address. Yep. What's the pointer? Right, what else? Just complaining on the same line. In generated, there's a problem. Oh, I just got a loose semicolon in there. Right, we'll fix that up as well, just quickly. So, right, just right. It's quite. These guys got semicolons as well. Right. Where's the code generator? There we go. So in the source file, if I open the generated source file, there's a semicolon there, semicolon there, semicolon there, semicolon. All right, we're doing good. Ooh. Right, so 14. Oh, I didn't read code gen, that's why. Alright, this is good. So, returning night reference. That wants a night ID. So that's in that from ref. Oh. Alright, yes, this one. Read code gen. Oh. Right, so this one. I'm passing in the wrong one here. I should be passing in the ID. Because it's, yeah, it just wraps types. Right, so this next one is returning an entity ID, but we've got a typed ID here. How the crap is that? So that's, where do we just do a return ID? What are we doing? Right, this looks like it. Right, what's a typed ID, but you get the ID. Okay, so you need to do a right, so we're just going to cast into a, yeah, we'll do the compound literal. All right, that's good. This other one is saying, right, entity index, we got rid of that entity part. Oh, nearly there now. Feeling like we're close. I didn't read code gen, did I? Did we not do context-aware printing here? And it just, did I use printf or something? Where was that in? That was in that. Hard to tell now which one it was. Right, 866. Fine. Yeah, we didn't use the context-aware printing function that we made. Very simple. Saves a lot of code. Right, so these ones are interesting. So I think these ones, they've taken a typed reference, but the typed reference wraps the untyped reference, I think. Yeah, I think that's what's looking at. So that's 2, 3. Well, yes, I think that's like. Are we doing it? Okay, we've got to actually go to the line of code. Generator.c. Right, so it's the typed get and set properties. So typed get set properties, these guys. So these need to say .raw, and that gets the untyped reference. That was the issue there. Let's keep that going. Regenerate the code, run it. Alright, we're still going down. 380. So we've got 500 lines, we're getting close into this file. So these actually need a nice message. So we'll put a message in. Archetype property arrays. Oh, they're right here. So these ones would like, this is surgeon. We're going to say archetype does not have the property be pretty nice. Right, so that'll fix that one. Then it's saying in the same function we return health, which it wants to return. Oh crap! That's a hard-coded data type. That ain't right. Data type. Right, so the rest of the errors are based on that, so let's keep going. Okay, so we're near the end of the entity. We're starting to go back into entity.c here. So we're near the end of this one, the code generated one. So props bit set, nothing called props bit set in Nightpool, right? Because that's in the header. So we've got to go. That's in the initializers, yeah. So be header dot. Let's code gen that and see what's up. Right, very small list here remaining, which is cool. 4, 8, 9. I don't know what that is. Oh, it must be to do with this array here. Yeah, we'll probably need a semicolon there. And another semicolon here. I think that's what it was complaining about. It's just a couple of arrays, some lookup tables for some functions. Crap. Not that one. Yeah, this is another one of those arrays. Cool, so I think that's the code generator errors. So now it's just the rest in the non-code generated code. So in entity.c 338. What is it complaining about again? Oh, I didn't actually end with enough brackets. Right, so int range. Oh, that could have been a nightmare. What a legend. This is a great error. It's catching that's going to overflow. So we have to upcast it to U64. I always forget that in C. So we should really upcast. Okay. Legend. And remove is the next one. Just called ref. This one is the movement requests. So the start of a frame, we do all the deferred actions. So the deferred actions are things like creating entities. This is deleting entities, and this is moving an entity, and it could move it from one pool to another if it's moved outside of a region. So it just tries to move everything, and if successfully, basically. So in here we didn't put a dot data, but cool. Right, so I think that's going to be a compiling and running game there. Why is it taking so long? I've only added like 1,000 lines or whatever in it. Or maybe it's like a couple of thousand. But things simply do not take this long. I don't understand what's going on with my computer today. That's way too long. But yeah, here's just a bunch of renders. Like with this is us testing the graphics payload. So we now have an array of things that models we can just pass to the renderer, and the renderer just has a separate piece of memory it just looks at. So it'd be good for the multi-threaded stuff in the future. It's decoupled from the game logic. So now the entity system has to produce this graphics payload data. So that's what we're going to work on next. We're going to get an entity system initialized and then try and loop over the entities and render. So I can actually start using it now. And I don't know why my system, why did this? Like, what's going on? That is unforgivable. Why is it taking that long? Things are just stalling these days. Please don't say my hard drive's dying. Like if I boot up, it just stalls. So what takes time in this operation? Is it the sync? Right, that build. What about the sync? That was quick. What about the running of the game? Is something doing with my graphics? It must be. Because this tries to initialize GPU stuff. No, but This is before it even opens the window. Maybe I just have to restart my PC. The last call takes me about 50%. What do you mean the last call? Well, like this boot up the game. And how did you know that? I don't understand. I've added nothing. Like, I assume it's something to do with the system, because if I open up a file manager, this happens. So I don't think it's my application. It's bananas. Let me close this and see what happens. Opens right away. But we do have another one open. Get rid of the music for now. Opens right away. Damn it. So... I have no idea what's going on. We can run perf on it maybe. Perf record, perf report. Have we got perf? Right, I need to update my system for a bit. Maybe I'll do that another time. But this is annoying though. Yeah, this is SY. Right. So that perf record build game. So it's in a recording rate of booting up. And there we go, we can cancel that now. Work at 1 times right data. Now let's do a perf report. So it spends JPEG decode. Yeah, I don't know if it's accurately got it or not. It could be that opening files are slow, maybe, because the file manager is all about file system-y stuff. I don't know why that's being slow to open. I think we'll just live with it for this stream, and I'll just look it off stream, but that's kind of annoying. Things are much slower than they should be. And I haven't even updated my system or anything, I've just turned it on today. Right, what's the next thing for us to do? So now it's compiling. We need to get... We should probably instantiate the system and just try and get some entities on the screen, right? Let's go into main. And this thing called entities needs to go. This is me testing out our collections like a long time ago. Or delete all this crap now. Cool. So we're going to instantiate the system. So we say ent system spec, and we instantiate it all. So let's go into the layout file and let's actually make entities that we want. There might be some other problems that pop up, but this is okay. So we definitely want a coordinate. We probably want like a couple of archetypes, right? We probably just want some kind of like... So I reckon we want some kind of like organism type of character, one like a player or another living thing that walks around. We probably want another archetype for maybe like a block, because this is like a top-down game. The world is going to be built up of these kind of like block things, but they're not like cubes. They're obviously cube-shaped, made up with a bunch of ellipsoids and things. But yeah, I'm thinking about putting those in the entity system because it just makes it such that these blocks can have properties and things that, you know, they behave like other entities in the entity system, and they're not like this separate thing that's then shoehorned to work in a similar way. So in terms of like components and things, or like properties and things, we should probably have a property for so they definitely both want to be able to be rendered. So for now there's that model enum. I think it's in graphics shared. No, it's in graphics.h. Yeah, model ID, graphics model ID. So we're just going to put graphics model ID in this, and obviously in the future we're going to change this, but for now we'll just do fine. So I think for now we just want this model ID and the organism and block. We're going to have the model ID, but they will obviously have quite different properties, and yeah, they're going to have quite different properties as time goes on. So did I delete all this? Obviously not. Right, so we need to really recode gen, and that's going to introduce more problems, because I imagine the oh, it does compile. Right, so I think it does compile. Right, because it's included after the graphics system. Right. That's okay. We'll just fix that when it becomes a problem later. So this spec would like these fields initialized. We can zero initialize it. And what we'd like to do is pass in some kind of allocator. So that is game thread local storage static allocator. So just instantiate it with a static allocator. One that is basically only allocations that happen at boot time. Number of entities, like total number of entities, let's just say 1024 for now. Well, let's do like 16k. Wait, 3, 4. Then region dims. How big is a region? So let's say a region is, let's say it's 4 across, 2 up and down, and 4 backwards and forwards. Or we could say, yeah, let's do another 4. So how many regions we're going to have? Let's just do a 2 or 3 regions across, 1 region up and down, 3 regions back and forth. So we should be able to debug visualize those as well, which would be cool. So this is the archetype, how many archetypes per region, the capacity, the pools. So for these guys, we do really want to fill all of them in. But yeah, so the new one is organism. So organism, which is like, let's say there could be, well, it's a 4 by 2 by 4, so you can't really fit that many entities in that region. But I don't know, let's just say there's max 64 or something. And then for blocks, we'll just do 64 as well. Nice. So let's just see if the system instantiates and works out okay. My compile times are not this slow. Damn this thing. Right, we've got a seg fault. And it can catch it. So I wonder whether I should reboot this my PC. I'm not fussed with these times. Something really weird is going on. Well, let's not compile all this code generated stuff in there. And let's just check if that was anything to do with it. I doubt it though, right? But let's just rule it out. No, it's still taking time. It compiles quick, it's just booting that game as log slow for some reason. Right. I want to reboot the stream because I think it's a bit annoying trying to launch the game and it takes too much time. So I'll literally be back in a minute or two. Hopefully that will fix the problem. Alright. BRB.